Hello, everybody listening to the Fair Weather Podcast. It's your boy, Super Bowl champ, 2K Suave. I'm joined with former Super Bowl champ, six-time Super Bowl champ in his lifetime. Wait, yeah, you've seen all six. Six-time Super Bowl champ in his lifetime. Welcome to the team, champ. I know I haven't seen you in a while, Sammy, but you came back to join the festivities with your fellow champ. And then we also have no time, never seen it before.
Never going to.
Hey, Rod. Sammy, welcome back.
Glad to be back. Thanks for having me.
What's the significance of the jersey today?
This is for everybody that was saying that Pat Mahomes is the GOAT, and this is me coming on here kicking him off GOAT Island. So,
Hey, Rod, do you have any rebuttal to that? Because
Roll Tide.
All right, so
Thanks for the hat, Sammy.
that is Alabama hat. I wasn't even paying attention. Hey, you know my favorite Alabama Crimson Tide player, Devontae Smith, Heisman winner, Super Bowl winner. Like, this is what we fucking do, baby. But before I get into my speech, in case y'all haven't heard, the Philadelphia Eagles are your 2000 and what do you consider the 2024 NFL Super Bowl champs? We're the 2024 Super Bowl champs. In my lifetime, I've seen this team make 4 Super Bowls, and I've seen us win 2 of them against the GOAT Tom Brady and the guy that they're trying to make the GOAT Patrick Mahomes. I'm living a dream. I'm living a dream right now. So before I get to my shit, I'm gonna let you have the floor, A-Rod. Just give me some crazy, wacky, funny shit that's been going on in your life over the last week.
A man standing below 5'6" looked in the camera at the halftime show and said, "Say Drake," and I lost it, man.
And it was the end of Drake as we know it.
Has to be, but never know. He's in Melbourne, Australia, on his demon tour now, probably. So we'll see. that I bet you during that, I know we're probably going to talk about the halftime show, which I can't wait. I guarantee you there was so much pushback from that, but I guarantee you, like, record executives and people up there were like, "Nah, run with it." But to name drop, remember when we were talking on the show?
Is he going to say that
he will name drop? And I was like, "Oh yeah."
The provider question. You still have you still have the bets from last week, do you?
I do.
Do you know, like, how they all finished, like heads and tails and all that?
I did my best to try and keep up with them. When we get to that part, I mean, we can go over that. But Sammy, go off, rattle off. That was just wacky, crazy for me because I was like, do it, pussy.
I think the only wacky thing is not really that wacky. I think it's just kind of funny how it all turned out. I got an argument with some coworkers about the Anthony Davis, Luka Doncic trade. Now, mind you, they don't really watch a lot of NBA, and I made it very clear to them. I was like, okay. They were like, "Oh, I see where Dallas is going with this. They're trying to go tall. They're trying to get defense, this and that." Anthony Davis is now out for a month, so.
We're gonna get to the NBA.
It was just funny seeing the news pop up like the same week.
You don't understand the irony of how that went down. It was like, I can't believe this is real life shit. Like, this really is what we knew was gonna happen, but it was like a tragedy. It was like, oh my God, that actually happened.
I do have a conspiracy about it though, but
I mean, shit, he could have given him a full game. Like, he gave him a full game's worth and a half. It's all right.
I said we don't have the capacity.
I see y'all in a month, y'all. Shit. All right. My crazy. My wacky. My funny. Let me break it down for y'all. All right. Early on this year, I sat up here and I said, you know what? I'm gonna look up how much flights are to go to New Orleans. I said it early on this year. I know people laughed. I know people chuckled. I know people doubted. Oh, you see the collapse that happened last year? I wonder why. Oh, Jalen Hurts ain't this. Oh, Nick Sirianni ain't that. I told y'all. When we signed Shayshawn Barkley, I said, oh, shit. That was the infinity stone that I didn't know we could get. Literally, how Luka Doncic got to the Lakers is one thing. Like, when you really go back and think about like, we're going to look at this 10 years from now, like, Luka Doncic, in the middle of the season, unprovoked, got traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. That's just, that's not supposed to happen.
For some petty shit, too.
That's not supposed to happen in this timeline. That was not meant to be on this timeline. The New York Knicks laughing on national, the New York Giants laughing on national TV about Saquon Barkley. We ain't got to get him no money. And John Mara coming. Man, it would be such a hard feeling. I won't be able to sleep at night if he becomes an Eagle. And long behold, Mr. Joe Shine, the price has gone up on the Philadelphia. It looks like they're out of it.
You might as well talk the shit now, man. Just go right in. Man.
This is it. We're getting the Super Bowl on right now, okay? But you got to get it from my perspective, all right? So that was the infinity stone. I was like, oh shit, we not playing. And then I didn't know Zach Bond, but they made a small deal about it. I said, okay. I knew I liked Cooper DeJean. I knew I liked Keon Mitchell. I was like, man, it'd be nice to get one of those two. We got them both. We got both of them. I remember a couple years ago, I knew right after we lost to the Chiefs, I knew I liked Jalen Carter. I knew I liked Nolan Smith. Ain't no way we getting Jalen Carter. Ain't no way we get Jalen Carter.
How many you get? How many you get?
How many what?
How many of them did you get that you wanted? Both of them, right?
Both of them. Both.
And don't forget to sprinkle in a little wide receiver in there too.
Don't get me. We talked about the year before. We made it to the Super Bowl that year, mind you. I told about the story last week, I think. Sitting there at what's that place called?
Blind. A man came back from the dead, literally. I saw a dead man come back from the dead.
You ever see them shits in the chat in the comment section? Whenever you see like a girl that like a celebrity crush that you have with her boyfriend finally, and it will say like so and so just fell on their knees at a Walmart or some shit. Yeah, I fell to my knees in depression. And then we got AJ Brown. I was like, golly. Devontae Smith, we drafted him. God, listen. It all led up to Saquon. And that was the final infinity stone, right? So let me get, first of all my haters, everybody who ever doubted me, all you damn Giants fans that kept saying, well, we don't even need Saquon. We got Tyrone Tracy? Who the fuck is Tyrone Tracy? Okay.
By the way, I have seen so many Giants fans on their posts on Instagram. Congratulations, Saquon. You deserve this. Now, I'm not taking anything away from the fan base. I think that they truly did not want that to happen, and that's on the GM. But that has to hurt to post that.
Can you imagine?
To post that.
Can you imagine? And I talked to all the Giants fans.
Of those Maverick fans too.
It's the same shit. I'm telling you. I'm just cheering for Saquon. But I don't want to see y'all win. After all that shit, they finally came around. Cowboy fans, all that chit chatting y'all be doing. Dak Prescott at the beginning of the year, they asked him, "Where do you see yourself?" We're gonna be in New Orleans with the Lombardi. Commanders fans, it's cute. There's a cute little story. Come on now. NFC, watch, easy. Be all y'all. But then y'all, Chiefs fans, all you three-peaters, all you Taylor Swifters, and you Swifties, and the media, and Entertainment Tonight, and the Tonight Show, and everybody that just sucked their shit the whole year.
Hey, just say, bro.
All the refs that just said, yeah, watch the ball, Cincinnati Bengal game, Atlanta Falcon game. We could go on, Chargers game. We could go on and on and on. The amount of black magic that they had all year to get to this spot. But what did I tell you, A-Rod? Who did I see I wanted to play in the Super Bowl?
Wanted the lick back.
I want my lick back. And boy, did we get our fucking lick back. We whooped that ass, belt to ass from start to finish. I mean, the last time I see Patrick Mahomes running around like this was against Tampa Bay. And that we thought was an anomaly game for him. Run that shit back, bro. Run it back.
But that game, he had like no O-line. Everybody was hurt. This one's perfect. Perfect.
4 people. We never blitzed. We just switched it up. Milton Williams, 3rd round pick. Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham with the torn triceps. We didn't even activate Bryce Huff. We paid $20 million to. We said, you know what, Bryce? Yeah, go on and just put on your gym clothes today. James Bradbury was at the game. You know, he got a Super Bowl ring too off that practice squad. This feel like when we won at 18, we beat Tom Brady. That was such a great feeling. Like it was, because the lick back that I got took 14 years, and it was like I was yearning for that moment for 14 years, and I didn't know it was ever gonna come back. To get Patrick Mahomes, because after the way we knew we should have won that game 2 years ago, to come back only 2 years later after all the bullshit we dealt with since that game, I was hyped when we won at 18. This one, bro, this was special, bro. This was like one of the most special ones. Like, Sammy, I'm gonna ask you.
Blow the whistle.
That's the name of the episode, by the way. Sammy, let me ask you. You saw 6. I've seen 2, and this one feels so good. Was there anyone in particular for you that was like, this one is so sweet?
I mean, I think it's safe to say it's the 28-3. You know, everybody thought we were cooked, right? I mean, even me for a second, I was like, we're cooked, you know. And then even just the other day, watching this game, I had a buddy sitting next to me, and he was asking me, he's like, oh, is it over yet? Is it over yet? You know, when it was like 21 or something, and then it got to 24-0, and I was like, not yet, not yet.
Yep. They
need one more point. And I said, if it's one more point, then I think it's pretty fair to say. And then they got that pick 6 or whatever, and it was over. I was like, yeah, this is a wrap now. Or no, it wasn't the pick 6. It was that it was that 3rd down play where they said hold this, and they threw it deep to Devontae Smith, and they were like, hold this.
Bruh, the feel, because again, I remember Tom Brady 28-3. I remember every Tom Brady game. It's hard to just beat the man. You gotta really beat the man, right? And Mahomes, we were only up 24-0. And I say only, and it sounds crazy, right? But I remember how he kicked off this whole shit was against the Texans. Down 24-0. Came back like it was nothing. And that's what started this whole dynasty that they have, or whatever you want to call this. It's a dynasty. You want to call it, yeah, it's a dynasty. A little bitty dynasty. But anyway, we were only up 24-0. I was like, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable. That's less than 25 points. Because 23 is like 25 points. But then we came out in that second half and sack, get the ball back, hold this shit, boom. It was like, wow, we really beat the dog shit out of the Chiefs, and to see them dejected on the sideline, man, you know, I was a little intoxicated. Not gonna lie, I laughed a lot, and that was so mean of me and evil. But the laughter that I was laughing, I felt like the Joker, bro. I felt like Bane. I felt like the bad guy that was taking down everyone's hero.
He said, if we get this Super Bowl ring, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I really don't know what I'm going to do with it if I get it. I just don't know.
It felt so good, and just I can go down on and on. Jeffrey Lurie, we don't ever see him in the media like we see Jerry Jones. You see him go carry the trophy and do whatever meeting he has to do when we introduce as a coach. Howie Roseman, that dude, come on, man. Like,
that's God. That's God right there.
Dude is a.
He put together an amazing team, and on the 7th day, he rested.
7th day, he rested and watched, and just everybody who that contributed this year, and over the last couple of years for us to get back to where we got to, all the coaching changes that we had to go through, like. So it's just, and then Vic Fangio, he came in as a volunteer 2 years ago, and he I think he knew what he wanted to do. He just didn't have the right players to execute it. So he said, "This is what I need," and they got him the right players to execute it. They didn't know Zach Bond. He getting paid $1 million. He about to go get a bag off of just one great year. It's just Nick Sirianni for not losing like the focus. Like he could have been out of here, and the fans would have been cool with it.
It's more it's more crazy to me. I know you're on your tour right now. I don't want to cut you off, but why I like Howie Roseman so much is he knows how to identify talent. Like he saw Zach Bond, who was a special teamer, and said, "There's no reason that guy is a special teamer. He can come to this team and contribute." And his first year as a starter made All-Pro. Mekhi Becton, who I am always have been a big fan of. I didn't understand the pick because he ran fast at the combine, but I was always like, this is a guy you can't give up on. O-line is what everybody needs, and we're going to give up on him, and he's super young. I've never been more happy for a player to turn it around, get out of a toxic organization, and do well. They didn't give up on him. They made him successful with other guys who, like, you can identify. Like with the Jets O-line, I don't even think they hang out like that. They're probably like, I'm going to go see my wife and kids. Yeah, I'm going to go to the bar and get drunk, just being a Jets fan. But that O-line is like, they're all buddies, man. You see it. You can see the camaraderie that's there. They pick out Jahan Dotson, another one right there. A guy who's a first-round pick, and you give away pennies, gets the first touchdown for this team.
Almost. Because they got him at the 1 yard line.
But regardless, like, they saw the talent in all of these players. Teams didn't, like, the Commanders could have used him. That's a good player to get rid of. He's young. He grows with your young quarterback. Terry's obviously the one. That's your two. You got two scary receivers right there. But Howie Roseman knows how to identify talent. And when you get a guy like Saquon Barkley, which I guarantee you, that is where the Chiefs fucked up. They planned for shit. We got to keep him under 150 yards. That is our game plan, and everything else will line up. And all the Eagles said, this is what they're going to do. Saquon, you're going to be the decoy. You're going to run the ball a shit ton of times, but I don't need you to get through the hole unless you see, like, Moses ran through, like, with the Israelites right there. Unless you see that opening, then take off. But just keep doing what you do, get us closer, and we'll throw the ball. Defense, press, play man, zone, whatever you want to do, and just cover the guy. Don't let the ball get anywhere around. Don't do anything stupid. And they were smart about it. They fucking were great about it. I've never seen a great team like the Kansas City Chiefs in my lifetime like that shut the fuck out like that. Because it wasn't until they pulled the starters when they started to score. So, you give Patrick Mahomes 5 minutes, he's going to start scoring all these guys.
In a Super Bowl game, pull the starters. Kenny Pickett got snaps in this football
with those
game.
Little hands. Those BK can't even hold a BK Whopper Jr. with him.
I was going to say it's important to note, too, that, not to take away from UK, but it's the Bills and the Ravens got to be kicking themselves right now. Like, I thought the other thing that the Eagles did really well, besides that pressure, right? You guys identified that O-line is a weakness, but being able to just stay on Travis Kelce in all those clutch moments is so huge. And I mean, I'm sure you guys talked about it. How did he get so open in that Bills game? Like, that's the only guy you really have to cover in those moments when they need a score. And in this particular game, what did he have? 4 catches for 18 yards or something like that? So
39 yards, all of that, a lot of that was
at the end. And that's what I mean. And I was telling A-Rod, because he was at my house, I'm like, damn, they're making sure Kelce is not open, that he cannot get free, that he cannot get to those, because he always goes to that second level, right? He sits in the first and then goes to the second level, and that's what always happens. But the Eagles were like, no, not today. And that was incredible.
And to kind of, and that was the importance of why we, like, going into the game, I was very confident that our physicality at the line of scrimmage was going to be the difference, because I'm happy that you're here, because I can always use the Patriots as like as a thing, because I remember the Giants when they played the Patriots, that NASCAR defense. I still remember. It was like that the team that was supposed to go undefeated, the team that was supposed to win 3 in a row, both of them ran into some crazy D line, and they didn't have an answer for it. And to Tom Brady's credit, he didn't throw the game away. I feel like the difference right now, where we talk about Patrick Mahomes, is he could have kind of kept him in it by like making adjustments here or this and that, but throwing the pick six, throwing another pick to Zach Bond, fumbling the football, it was like he unraveled. Like one thing about Tom, as bad as it would get for him,
never unraveled.
He never unraveled. He may not have the best team on the field that day, but he's not going to just completely unravel. And it was very telling to me. I'm like,
and the lack of adjustments, right? At the half, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, all right, let's see what answer the Chiefs have in this second half. Nothing. They had absolutely nothing. I mean, the only thing they did was the little rollout, which is essentially what the Patriots tried to do against the Giants, was get Brady out of the pocket because there was just way too much pressure. But even then, like, there was no other adjustments. I didn't see anything much different from what they were doing. And I thought to myself, I mean, and this is partially because I put a bet on it, and I thought this would have easily happened. I mean, A-Rod, I mean, it's true. Like, that was an easy bet. Like, if the Chiefs want to stay in it, Pat Mahomes has to run a little bit more, and he didn't. And to be honest, Jalen Hurts had a good time throwing, but it's with the legs where he made some of those huge plays. You know what I mean? So
that's what he did the Super Bowl a couple years ago. Like both times he's ran for 70 yards, Jalen Hurts. Mm-hmm. And you would think Mahomes would know I got to match at least 50 years old.
You have to, right? Like you have to. If a defense is pressuring that much, you got to back them up. And if your running back's not doing it, then you have to do it. And in all the games that they've won in this playoff,
running backs, because Kareem Hunt only had 3 carries. Samaje Perine 1 carry, Isaiah Pacheco 3 carries. And I remember I was talking about it last year. I said, what screwed us up was that the last time nobody ran the football for us. We just kept like, all right, we got to figure it out, quarterback. But we talk about Saquon Barkley, right? He didn't even have to play well. He still had 25 carries. You had to pay attention to it. That's why the play action pass was always going to be there, because the threat of, like, when Pacheco runs the ball, like, I get nervous because he runs the ball so hard. And a couple of years ago, he ran the ball well with Pacheco. I don't know why they completely went away from that in this game. Like, they never even – it wasn't like they were down 25-0 all game long.
What is this? It says, 11 carries. That's it. That's crazy. That's crazy, bro.
Mind you, Mahomes had 4 of those. and it went 25 yards. But it's like, it's just, I don't know. Like, all right, from your perspective.
Another thing I meant to add, too, about the Saquon Barkley signing and the whole running back thing as a decoy, like, you got a gem. You got a gem that's, like, doesn't care about stats, just wants to win the Super Bowl.
Yep.
So, like, even when they're at the 1-yard line, he's not crying to get the ball. Even when he's not the focal point in the Super Bowl, you don't see him crying about, like, I need the ball, yada, yada, yada. Man is just selfless. Will do what it takes to win the football game. And that's another thing that I appreciate about, like, the guy. Like, he's just a selfless. Like, the game at the end, all he needed was 13 yards or whatever. He was like, no, let the young guys eat. I don't care. I want to win. I want to win the Super Bowl, man. I love seeing shit like that, man, especially from this dude. Like, still can't believe that you got him. It's, like, wild to think that.
It's like I said, it was the Infinity Stone that I was not expecting. Like, that was not on my timeline whatsoever. Saquon Barkley in an Eagles jersey, that was never in my. I just didn't know that could happen in real life. It was like, damn, we can get Saquon with this team, with this offensive line, with the talent around him here. It's again, it's just one of the best feelings I've ever felt in my entire life. Now, I'm gonna ask you, Sammy. I don't like to get ahead of myself. Let's start. I want you to give me what this is, because the thing with Brady's run is that he got those first 3 out the way early, but then it was 10 years of just, couple Super Bowl losses and a couple, one injury year and a couple of years where Baltimore got him. Colts got him once, and who am I missing? The Chargers maybe got you once.
Broncos.
So, and I, a couple years ago when after they lost the team, I forgot what it was. I asked him like, well, what if we never see Mahomes win another Super Bowl? But that was obviously clear when he won these last couple. Now he's at 3 now, right? So he's at 3. Brady was at 3 early. Mahomes is only 27, 28. So what do you think? For the way they're set up now and for what you know about being a part of a dynasty, having to wait that long period in between, how do you look at this Chiefs team right now? And how do you like moving forward? Like what do you see as like the next thing for them or whatever? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'm going to say like it's going to be hard for him to get into that goal conversation again, just because the 2 losses that he had were so significantly bad, right? You got a 31-9 and then this 40 whatever to 22. But as far as how the Chiefs dynasty can go, I think this was a very clear indication that, if you go cheap on your O-line and you're going against these NFC teams, like be ready, be prepared for the boom. You know what I mean? For no pun intended, right? Like, Legion of Boom or whatever. But I think that's where they have to start right now, clearly, right? I think they need to begin looking at this next set of skill players. So I think Xavier Worthy's going to be fine. I thought he was the only one that was, to the best that he could, attempting to get open, and I think he'll be fine. But you can clearly see that Travis Kelce has lost a step. These linebackers, no disrespect to you guys, but these linebackers shouldn't have been able to carry him like they did, but they did. They shut him completely down. So I think that's going to be big and important for them. And then, I'm not a big running back guy. I think Isaiah Pacheco is fine. But I think they do have to begin building that running back pipeline, because if you look at the Brady years, like it was very significant that they had this consistent rolling outline of pretty decent running backs that can play a specific role for the team. Whether it be, when we had the Jarvis Green Ellis, who was just a runner, and then the James White, and then, so it's going to be important for that. But again, it's going to be really important for them to really focus on that offensive line, and then maybe add another skill player, skill position, and that could be where that 10 years comes from, right? I mean, that was the difference between 2008 until we got to our next one, was having some of those skill player guys, some of those offensive line guys get better. But again, we were consistently in the mix, always, every year. We were in, the AFC Championship games. I think it was rare that, we lost the first round exit. So I think that's going to be important. But Pat Mahomes is still Pat Mahomes. I think he's got a lot of football left to play. I think he's still going to be in the mix. But it's going to be important for their scouts to do what the Eagles do, and to try at least.
But also I know you touched on the Xavier Worthy thing. Like, what a weird year, because like your focal point has always been Travis Kelce, and what a major downhill we saw for Travis Kelce, and we saw Xavier Worthy shine. They always do this for Patrick Mahomes. They give him all the tools to be successful. We saw Kareem Hunt move right into the offense and pick up like he never left, and then playoff time kind of disappeared. And then D-Hop, who is, everyone knows who D-Hop is. You throw the ball 10 yards in front of that guy, he'll catch the ball. He didn't do it in this game. Very quiet. It's weird to see them. I mean, credit to the Eagles defense for shutting all these guys out too, of course. But not getting them as involved or switching, like we said, in the second half. Let's see how they're going to come out and use these guys, that they went and got. It's very weird to see that. Xavier Worthy looked like he was the only guy who was on the same page, doing everything he could, taking the role of Travis Kelce. And it's just very weird to see that, because you're used to seeing the Chiefs, oh, fuck, another first down. We know what's going to happen here. Oh, shit, there we go. Travis Kelce, 30-yarder. And you didn't hear that once. It was like the air was sucked out for all the Chiefs fans there. So it's going to be curious to see how they're going to retool this offense. And
it will, though. First of all, Rashee Rice, he'll be back next year.
Yeah.
To pair along with Xavier Worthy, I like that.
I do too.
I read somewhere that Cooper Kupp could be an option. You know they're gonna go after somebody like a Cooper Kupp.
Garrett Wilson. If Garrett Wilson, I've been hearing his name thrown out there too. I would fucking be pissed.
That's not.
I mean, keep in mind too, guys. Rookie wide receivers usually have a lagging metric, right? And the fact that Worthy had 600 yards in his rookie season is pretty significant, and that's almost like, wow, watch out. Like, we'll see next year. You bet on him to get over 1,000. Like,
we
for
know.
sure.
We saw Tyreek Hill start off as a kick returner and became Tyreek Hill. So we know, especially the way they run their schemes offensively. He's like the way he's able to extend plays. When you have a quarterback that extend plays, all you need is a big threat. And Patrick Mahomes is very savvy for all the bullshit. To his credit, let's give Patrick Mahomes some credit, right? He had a bad game, a horrible game, and the Bucs game a couple years ago that was bad. But what he's done so far in his career is impressive. This is his 5th Super Bowl, and that he's gone to what 7 years. This is quick success.
Let me ask you this. I know I made the comment about the NFC and their defense, but is this a testament? And A-Rod, you can chime in on this too. Is this a testament to how maybe bad or badly coached the AFC overall is for him to just stomp through the AFC and then get his teeth kicked in against the Philadelphia Eagles?
From an NFC guy, I always look at the AFC as the quarterbacks. That's where all the quarterbacks somehow just all end up in the AFC. And the NFC's always just been grit, toughness, and grind. And we got to get it out the mud. It's outside of the AFC North, to me, is everybody else is you got to deal with a lot of court. And now the AFC North got a couple good quarterbacks, obviously, with Burrow and Lamar. But it's always the quarterback. So the way the NFC has always been built is even Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman wasn't doing all that. That was a run the football, play really good defense. We have the best offensive lines. That, and we have Michael Irvin.
The fun stuff's in the NFC. The fun things are in the NFC. The quarterbacks are in the AFC. That's what it usually is.
So and you talk about coaching. This is looking at the teams in the AFC. In the East. Not Dave Ball. What's your coach's name, A-Rod, that you just got? Glenn, he's new, but before that, Saleh was a coordinator. And, really a lot of coordinators, right? The Patriots, all the coordinators that they send out all end up in the AFC somewhere. The Texans got a couple of them, Dolphins got one at once. It's all the coordinators that get sent out. I'm trying to think, who's Pete Carroll's back. I don't know. I'm trying to, who are the coaches in the AFC? Tomlin. It's literally Tomlin and Harbaugh. That's it. But how many good coaches are really there in the NFL at the end of the day? It's and
I just mean from a perspective of how the teams are structured and coached. It just seems like every time any one of these coaches goes up against Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes, they shit their pants. That's basically it.
I didn't mention Andy Reid on purpose because to me Andy Reid's already kind of cemented himself as to Tomlin and Harbaugh for all the success that they have. They how many rings they both have? Just one, right? Does Harbaugh only have one?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Tomlin and Harbaugh both won their rings a long time ago. It's literally been the Andy Reid show and Bill Belichick show. And, you sprinkle in a couple of, here and there.
It's tough to get past the guy. Like we just said, the AFC is a quarterback show, and it's always two guys that you got to get past in that division. It was Peyton Manning and Tom Brady for the longest, and now it seems like it's Patrick Mahomes is the guy, but then sprinkle in some Josh Allen, sprinkle in some. Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to. He won MVP, which I don't think he should have won, but whatever. Joe Burrow in there, I guess, and Lamar should have his seat at the table, but it's hard for Harbaugh to get over the hump of that quarterback.
I don't know. It's now, A-Rod, let me ask you this, because I got Sammy's Chiefs perspective. Eagles. Now, I know how I feel about the next 2 years, but I'm not going to sit here and gloat. because I'm enjoying the moment right now. Like it's weird that I wake up every morning like, damn, we just won the Super Bowl, right? And I don't want to think about next year already, but I'm already seeing shit about the draft and we just lost
Joe Carter, all that shit. I already know.
Oh, Myles Garrett. I'm like, I don't want to deal. I want to enjoy this shit. So I'm going to enjoy this shit.
He's on his Jalen Brown shit.
I'll let everybody else worry about.
Nobody feels bad for you right now.
Listen, I'm on cloud 35.
We were with you when you were celebrating. We were supporting you. Now you're trying to bring us down. It's like, what do I do now?
How do I file my taxes this year?
I don't want to sit here and gloat, but I know how I feel, and I want to.
But you are.
As A-Rod, looking at the outlook of the Philadelphia Eagles now for the next 5 to 10 years, we got Jalen Hurts. He shut people up. We got Nick Sirianni, who's also shut people up. And now we got to see if how long we can keep this shit going. So, talk to me about what should I expect from my team over the next few years?
No sleep from Mr. Howie Roseman, man. He did his 7-day rest. Now he's back to being God again, man. Myles Garrett is the big ticket now. How do you get Myles Garrett there? How do you get Myles Garrett? Because let's be honest, trying to keep this team, if he could keep this team together and just move forward with this team, I think that would be perfect. But there's guys on that team like Zach Bond. Like, let's be honest, that guy is you should be singing that man's praises for what you had to pay him, but he deserves to get paid for what he did.
Listen, if he signs with us, I'm donated to his charity. Whatever he needs, bro.
That is a good value get. And I know Sammy's a guy that's all about, like, you know, looking at the contract and the player. That is a hell of a gamble, but that is also doing your research and nailing it. That's like the guy that never shows up to the school project and then the day of the assignment just like does the whole thing and you're just like, I didn't see that happening. Who had that on the board?
When the Patriots signed Kyle Van Noy.
Yeah, exactly. Kyle Van Noy. Kyle Van Noy is another good one to throw in there as well.
One thing about the Patriots, y'all always were able to, kind of like what we're doing right now with Howie.
What the Patriots did was a little bit. They did find talent. Yes, I will give you that. But they also told superstars like, hey man, know you were the 13 sacks last year. You're gonna be a rotational guy if you want this ring. You're gonna do it, or get guys like Darrelle Revis, which forever pains me to know that, and say, hey, we need a shutdown corner. You know how you play. You don't play man to play. You play zone. 13 mil 1 year. Come get this ring. We're gonna let you go.
We know you try to win. Come get the ring, baby.
Bill Belichick knew what he was doing because he had that culture, and they say the Patriots way. It is a thing. Eagles are making one too. Whether you believe it or not, you are making one too. I believe it because Howie Roseman doesn't get the worst signing that he got paid off at the end. Like you said, he shut up towards the end. C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I would not want that guy on my team because if he goes down, you know he's chirping and it doesn't look good for him, and send his ass out. Same thing at the end of this. He won the Super Bowl and talked his shit. I knew that was going to happen, you know, but it panned out. But what happens here for your trajectory, I think you guys are sitting perfect. You got the right guys locked up. You went and got Saquon. You got him for what, another 2 years, 3 years? Should be okay there. We know now. I am so happy for Saquon, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Joe Mixon, shutting up all these NFL executives saying, you want to win a Super Bowl? Go get you a fucking running back and pay them because they deserve to get paid. Because I'm sick of this notion that the running back doesn't do shit. We'll just get another guy. Tyrone Tracy, get in there and do, oh, you're hurt. Okay. So don't get those type of guys. Pay the players that fit the mold of what you do. And what you guys do is perfect at that. You got the right guys locked up. Jordan Davis is young. Nolan Smith is young. Dijon is young. You guys are straight. You're good. You're good. You're good. You're sitting good. And even if Goddard ends up leaving, that guy Cal Katera is he's quitting it.
Dallas Goddard ain't going nowhere, bro.
Hey man, if he does, I've seen that guy. I know you're a super fan, but the games I watch, I see that guy make big plays for you.
Dr. Terry, his run blocking is not good. His pass blocking is not good. His route running is not great.
I'm not here to dissect the team. I'm just saying that you lose one guy. Look, you lost DeAndre Swift, who was pretty good with that team, and you went and upgraded big time.
Yeah, so, we got Saquon.
People want to play for the Eagles. You will attract people. It is how Howie Roseman shows us another masterclass in the offseason, and I'm ready to watch every offseason. I don't even give a fuck about my team, man. Fuck those losers. I'm curious to see what Howie does when he wakes up in the morning. Does he wake up, drink his coffee, then piss excellence, and then go call the right guys? Because I know my GM's going to call him, hey, this is, I don't even know his name, so-and-so for the New York Jets. Click, what? Hey, ain't going to happen. I know it already. So,
all right.
You're straight. So don't have a pity party. We know you're good.
Let's talk about this halftime show real quick.
You want to go down the bets real quick? Because I have them here.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
So we did the coin toss.
It was heads, wasn't it?
I got that. It was tails.
It was tails.
I got that right. You got it wrong. The national anthem. It was under.
Wasn't that a controversy with that? I heard like some sport books had like a huge controversy with it because like it was like an extra razzle dazzle or some shit at the end. I don't know. Long story short, it was under, right?
The only controversy was I had to send Vic the 1-800 number in a side chat after he kept saying what I want to bet on the national anthem. So, Gatorade got that one right. Green, yellow. America the Beautiful. What one was that? Oh, who did they pan to first? You got that right, but you had it backwards. It was Mahomes, then Kelsey.
Give me the fun ones, just the fun ones.
Yeah. Coin winner, we both had that right, the Chiefs. Commercial, GoDaddy, which one was first? I couldn't tell you which one was what. Kendrick, the first song, we both got that wrong.
The other one.
Kendrick, we got that one wrong for the first song because it was the first one was yeah, that one. Then it was Squabble Up. Over under 49, I said over. Super Bowl MVP, you got that right, Jalen Hurts, and we both got the winner right. So pretty good time.
We're gonna say Drake my name.
Shit.
That's where we transitioned to the halftime show. All right. Now, from my perspective during this halftime show, I was already just in a very good mood because of the score. So I actually wasn't as invested in. I watched the halftime show from my kitchen while I was making guac. I was making this guac. I'm like, I'm in a good mood. So I was just bouncing with the music regardless. Now I was reading into the messaging a little bit, but I was just bouncing to the music regardless because I was in a good mood. So my perspective of the halftime show, I can't really give a fair one. People asked me about it at work the next day, and in general, my mom even asked me about it, and I was like, I mean, it was good. And there are people who are on the fence of it was the greatest shit ever, and there's people on the fence who are like it was the worst shit ever. So, A-Rod, no, you've been talking, Sammy. You guys both watched the halftime show together, correct? What was your reaction to the halftime show, Sammy?
I loved it. Do I think it was the best ever? No. But do I think it was the worst ever? No. I thought it was a good halftime show for what he was given. I love the message. The choreography was really good. I thought he did a good mixture of songs. I loved the constant teasing of Not Like Us. That was genius. Obviously, the cameo by Samuel L. Jackson was awesome as Uncle Sam. And again, he said, you picked the right time, but the wrong guy. I thought that was absolutely genius as well.
Scott Aaron's The Revolution Will Be Televised, which was fucking amazing. I fucking love that.
I was just pointing out a couple things to people that said it was the worst, and obviously we know the skin color of those people that said it was the worst. But not to go far down that road.
Halftime show.
Yeah, not to go far down that road. But again, one thing I wanted to point out is it is now, I think, top 10 in the most streamed Super Bowl halftime shows on YouTube already after only one day. So clearly people are interested in that halftime show. But I will say this, the one thing that I think he could have added was maybe do a couple of Some of his hits, some of the stuff that people know. And to be honest, I don't think what he did was wrong, though, because you're playing all the hits from an album that just won Song of the Year, Album of the Year, all that other stuff.
I mean, it was a single.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it was the lead up to that album.
I don't know if I can take this for face value or not, but I follow this page that breaks down a lot of shit that happens, right? I forgot what it's culture coded or something like that. Anyway, they said the reason why he wasn't able to perform a lot of hits was because a lot of those hits were under TDE, and he is not legally allowed to perform those songs regardless. Hence why he had to he made all these GNX like songs quickly because he needed songs that he could perform, and then a couple songs he did with Humble. Trying to think, everything came from Damn and from GNX, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say he like DNA. I think he did as well, or maybe he should have done DNA.
He did DNA.
He did
Humble.
So basically,
the only two that he had from the past.
So it was shit from Damn and shit from GNX. Am I correct? And there's some other. So apparently he just wasn't allowed to. You don't think he'd want to go Hollenberry and Hallelujah? Like all that good kid, bad seed. You don't think he wanted to? I'm sure he probably wanted to do that. I think his approach to what he did made sense. Now, A-Rod, I'm not even asking because I know you love the show, but to the casual fan that's paying thousands of dollars to go watch the Super Bowl, how do you think the casual fan, because not everyone's a diehard Kendrick Lamar fan, do you have to be a Kendrick Lamar fan to enjoy this show? What if I was a Red Hot Chili Peppers fan? Would I ever enjoy this show?
I love the Red Hot Chili Peppers, man.
I'm asking you, what if I just don't?
What's the skin tone of this casual fan we're talking about? I'm just kidding. What's his haircut look like? Is it crew cut? Is it crew cut? Is he a get off my lawn kind of guy?
Get your honest perspective.
So my honest perspective is pitching back to the music too. That wasn't his agenda to play his hits. His agenda was to get something else out there to a lot of people, and and embarrass a man on national TV as well, which I'll never forget that day of my life. Before I get into what it is for the casual fan, I just want to say I'm starting to think that this may jump the Ether Nas shit.
Oh, this is on another level.
I've listened to like Euphoria in the last few days over and over again, and it is so well executed. It is so well executed in an art of storytelling I've never heard in my life. But to the casual fan who's watching this, I completely understand that. I can understand that, hey, I don't identify with this and I don't know it, or I don't know his music like that. But it also gives you some reading material to kind of understand as well too, if you're not a bigot or a hater of that. Because let's be honest, if they threw Morgan Waller up there to go do it like, Vic would have liked, I'm sure, how much of Black America or Hispanic Americans or Asian Americans are like, oh yeah, I really like that guy? It wouldn't have been. The safe bet would have been put him and Post Malone up there and let them both do, Post Malone stuff, Morgan Waller stuff. But I think when it comes to hip hop, it's very hard to pull in an audience. But when you win Grammy for Song of the Year and you go 5 for 5 on that, you can't shun this guy out. That's a big get for you right there. And Kendrick is already crowned as the best in hip hop now.
And again, I'm assuming because of what I've heard about TDE, that's why he couldn't perform. But
no, he's cool. He's cool with TDE.
Even if it was Kendrick Lamar, he could have, to the casual fan, if he had performed Pour Up, Drink, with the whole crowd, white, black, Hispanic, Chinese, they all singing that song. So
the whole crowd was bopping with it too. When he said A minor, that shit got loud. I know,
because that's a song that they sing at bar mitzvahs. Like, obviously a song that everybody sings, he's gonna, that's why he did it.
Could have did that, but the whole point of that whole thing was to shun away, like, you're not my boss. I'm not gonna listen to what you tell me to do.
I just want to give it to me as like, I'm just a casual. I don't know shit about shit.
I've had to go back and forth with so many casual fans, and hard R's thrown out there, and I'm like, I don't want to hear this shit, bro. Because you like, if fucking Metallica went up in there, that's a fucking staple point to American music right there, is Metallica. If they went up there and I heard,
all right, what if Metallica went up there with an agenda? Like, I don't know any Metallica songs, but like, they just playing like cool music, whatever, like whatever. I don't really care. But what if they went up with an agenda to promote something that they were beefing with some other rock band? I don't know what the fuck's going on. They beefing with another rock band.
I don't. But what I'm trying to get at is like a certain group or some people, older boomers, would love that shit for the most part, But we're looking at more. We're looking at more boomers that are upset with this because they don't have it. My dad was like, "Who's this Kendrick Lamar guy?" I'm like, "Dad, this is a conversation we do not need to have because I don't need to like."
Is that worthy of a big Super Bowl halftime show? Because again, we've gone from like, we got Prince, we've had Usher, we've had Beyonce, we've had performers, and then Kendrick is a performer to people like that, and us like who like his music. But like,
bro, he had an amazing
all day, and but you see what I'm trying to say, right? Like,
I get what you're trying to say.
Give it to you from devil's advocate or whatever, just from a different lens. That's all.
I am, and I'm saying like I think they got the right guy, but I understand where it doesn't resonate with some people because rap is already an artistry that people can't understand. Some people they try and take their stuff out of it. Yeah, they'll sing some of the lyrics, but I guarantee you, like they just know like what's played on the radio. They're gonna sing that stuff. Us, the hip hop connoisseurs that seek it. This was like if you love hip hop, this was fucking for you. And if you love hip hop and hated this, you're only academics. That's the only guy that I know who probably hated this.
Or you're a hardcore Drake.
But to add to it, it's not like he went up there and played songs from an album that didn't do well. Like this album, is one of the most streamed albums of the year. It was completely pop culture relevant.
And it couldn't even be nominated for a Grammy because it was too new, which is even crazier.
Yeah.
So
that's the thing though. It's very new. Like if again, use any rapper or any musician, if they just dropped an album a month and a half ago and performed all those songs, you're not gonna know all those songs just yet to the casual fan. Songs that have, like think about it. When Dr. Dre, 50 and Snoop and Eminem, it was all just every song they hit, they was a classic. We all loved it.
So in that case, like they did a dial back. They went to like what do a lot of people know of, and this one they went what's hot right now. They tend to do that. What's hot right now? What's in the past that we can get a lot of people behind. And I think this one, Kendrick has a great agenda to push forward for a lot of people to understand. But some people probably aren't down with that fucking type of shit. And if that's not what you want, just don't watch it then. I don't give a fuck. It was great. It was well choreographed. It was well thought of, a lot of stuff that was put into that. I guarantee you he wanted to go harder than he really did, but he went pretty fucking hard. And
you got 13 minutes to do what you got to do. So it's like you got to do what you got to do.
Exactly. And you got Serena Williams out there fucking crip walking too on top of it.
That was chef's kiss.
Seriously,
I was like, not Serena. Oh my God.
Big as the what?
But it was just overall though, I enjoyed.
Big as the what though is a crazy thing. Something Drizzy's never done.
Yeah, let's
Super Bowl.
And that's when you go back to the Nas thing and all these other, like what this run that Kendrick Lamar has to. I would assume this is the conclusion of this stretch, and now we're going into like the honeymoon phase of Kendrick Lamar because like he just went on a 10. Well, when did this shit start? April of last year. Like he just went on a 10-month just rant that completely got. You got to understand, Drake is still the #1 streamed artist in the world, but like he took like a nice chink out of that armor, like really big piece out of that armor.
Community, yeah, he's got he's holding an L, but to the rest of the world that's not plugged into that, it's like you pick a side. Do you like the Celtics or do you like the Lakers? You're a Larry Bird fan or a Magic Johnson fan? It's how the time was, and that's kind of how it is now. You can listen to the music. I don't care. I'll bump a little bit of Drake here and there when I want to get emotional and shit. Go ahead, listen to that shit. But when you want to hear poetic storytelling with a message behind it, dude, just sit there and like light a blunt, listen to Kendrick Lamar. You'll be straight, man. You hear some good shit come out. But some people don't like that. They want to hear, now I grew up in my bottles. Like they want to hear the shit that's on the radio. That's what they want to hear, and that's all they like. And hey, it's not for you. But once again, when they pan to those people, we know who those people are.
So, GP, you're familiar with GP. He texted me like a month or two ago. He asked me, he said, "Is Kendrick Lamar the greatest ever?" And I laughed. I was like, Kendrick Lamar is not the greatest ever. What are we talking about? But what you fast forward to what I just witnessed over this Super Bowl, like this last year, and then you just kind of take a step back and just look at his whole career. Damn. Like, again, I am a J. Cole stan. And remember I said it last year, I'm like, wow, he finally got me to reconsider for a couple seconds. You know what I mean? Like, that is how strong this push was from Kendrick Lamar over the last year and just his career and how it culminated to this Super Bowl. So that question is no longer as like, I don't think I've ever heard a diss song being performed. Like, it brings me back to the Super Bowl. I never heard nobody perform no diss song at a Super Bowl.
I feel like because I'm a big J. Cole fan, so I'm with you. I feel like this whole thing started because like J. Cole thought, oh, we're gonna do beef so we can all kind of lift each other up, and then he realized Kendrick is serious, and we're like you said, we're 10 months in, and he's still serious. I'm glad J. Cole backed out. I was like, oh, it's like that. Like, you're way too serious.
There's a comedian, his name is Josh Johnson, where he breaks down the beef of Drake and Kendrick Lamar in a comedy sketch. Me and Tab were watching it today. It is so funny, and it's a great way to look at it like that, of the things he says. Like, Kendrick, like, you don't go at, like he said, Kendrick, you don't go at a guy who's just like, poor, living in the fucking eating like the 20-cent sandwiches and stealing the 20-cent sandwiches at the fucking school lunch table and shit like that. Drake
pushed us with his knuckles and shit.
Battle. I thought we were gonna battle. I thought that's what we were gonna do, man. But like, dude, this dude, it was personal. It was personal to him. It was super personal, and I get it. Rap is in our old chat, Sammy. We always say rap is very territorial. It is a territorial thing. If you say you're the best, someone is gunning for your head, and it's up to them to try and do it. It is up for them to try and do it. And Drake has been crowned this pretty boy best to do it. And Kendrick said, "Let me show you why I'm the best."
Best to do
dick.
Home of dick.
Best to do what? Drake was the best to do what?
I'm just saying, people wanted to crown him that.
not my goat.
No, he's not my goat either.
Not my goat.
He's got a big following that follows him. Said he's the best, dude. When we were in college, when we first heard Drake unleash, do you remember how many people were like, "Oh my God, he's so
Drake
good"?
had us in a chokehold. Okay, like, let's be honest, he did have us in a chokehold. Okay, like, I would go out. It was the summertime. I'm trying to go talk. So, saying.
I had to hear there wasn't one day I was riding in the car with EJ and he did not play Bedrock one day. I was like, I don't want to hear this anymore, bro.
Cups of the rose.
Drake did his thing. He did his thing, but like you said, like, he messed with the wrong one. The wrong one ain't gonna play around. Like, and it kind of ties to me. I look at the Chiefs and Drake. That's kind of similar, like, they had a nice little run, right? But it's all fun and games until you get punched in the face. We punched that motherfucker in the face, Patrick Mahomes.
And back to J. Cole too. You missed a couple podcasts. I mean, we kind of talked about this a while back too. J. Cole he's like one of us, man. He's grown, has kids, he's college educated. He's like, I don't need this shit. What am I gonna do? And he knows, like, that's him and Kendrick are really boys. They're friends. I don't need this shit. I know what's in this kid's arsenal. I don't want this smoke.
But I think also, like, because J. Cole is a fan of the art, and I'm not saying Kendrick isn't. So a big part of hip hop is the beef, right? Like, how many beefs have we seen that have kind of dwindled, right? It was more of publicity between two artists, and then they became not cool, but they were just like, all right, whatever. So I think that's what J. Cole thought.
Jay-Z and Nas became cool.
Yeah. But I'm saying, but they've all kind of like dwindled. I mean, other than 50 Cent, but he's got beef with everybody.
Well,
So,
that doesn't dwindle with 50 Cent.
yeah.
I mean, I just see this rest in peace, Irv Gotti. I just see Irv Gotti just get annihilated after his death. Like, that's insane. So there's certain people, like a Kendrick Lamar, like a 50 Cent, that you gotta just leave alone. Leave these dudes alone. And I think we learned that with Kendrick. Like, yo, just J. Cole. I'm not messing with him. Like, come on. Like, I'm gonna leave that dude alone. It's simple to me. So, but like, imagine Tupac performed at a concert and he played Hit 'Em Up. Like, that's crazy, dog. Like, come on.
I mean, it could happen. He's still alive, supposedly, so we'll see.
Where is he at? Cambodia, Cuba?
Who knows, man? He's somewhere, though.
Oh, man. But, I mean, yeah.
For what it's worth, I love the halftime show. I fucking love it. But I'm also a hip-hop connoisseur, so it identifies more to me. So I get, once again, why some people didn't like it. Just deal with it. I had to deal with dumb shit.
We could have a whole separate podcast and episode, so we could actually break down all the artistic shit that we just witnessed from that halftime show, because that was it was magnificent. So that's a whole other story for a whole other time. I can't believe the NFL is over for right now. Before we get into the NBA, first of all, were there any commercials that you guys really like to remember?
Dunkin' Donuts, man. Dunkin' Donuts does. I give it the fact that they got the pull from Ben Affleck also the was it Stella too with Matt Damon was pretty funny too. You could have got Ben for that.
Oh yeah, the Matt Damon and David Beckham.
Yeah, that was pretty good too.
No, just so speak Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar made me listen to Drake music different. I'm like, I don't know. I look at Starbucks now, I'm like, ugh. Like, I don't know. I got beef with Starbucks. I'm like,
the fact that we have this artist up there doing a halftime show with the beef, and then Dunkin' Donuts comes out with that commercial with like a nice little beef show or a beef commercial.
The marketing team knows what's up, man.
If you guys see their Instagram, they are on point. They are on point.
Now, I do appreciate like a good jab like that. Like whenever, because like it used to be taboo for companies to mention other companies by name or like indicate that they're talking shit about another company. Now you see a lot of these social media teams and marketing teams, they just don't give a fuck anymore.
Whoever's like Wendy's pulling the trigger, that guy.
Come on now. And if you go, dog, a 30-second commercial costs $8 million. If you're going to spend $8 million to do a commercial, you better go all out. Do what you got to do. And I give Dunkin' Donuts a lot of credit for that shit, because I literally walked past Starbucks today because I work it's right next to my job. I'm like, I don't know.
Look at these pores over here.
Oh,
it's literally beans and water. Casey Affleck.
I was like, damn, it literally is. They just call it Sokimo Macchiato, this, da-da-da-da. It's beans and water. $9.95.
Like Dunkin' Donuts is like Popeyes to me, to Chick-fil-A. You know, it's like I'd rather get in a fight with the barista trying to make my coffee, and I will enjoy it more than having somebody correct my order when I go up there and be like fake to me. That's just me personally. I don't know why.
My pleasure.
Yeah. I want a large. You mean like a venti?
How much does it cost for you to spell my name wrong?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like I be around a lot of Michael. How do you spell like a Michael wrong? John.
Somebody said, is it ALEX or ALIX? Keep the money. Going next door.
Y'all have weird energy over here at Starbucks. So I hope we don't. If we were ever gonna get a sponsorship from Starbucks, well, we lost it now. But sorry, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't want. I would have been happy with that. I ain't gonna lie, but yeah, no more Starbucks. But all right. Before we get to the NBA, because there's a lot of shit going on in the NBA. And Sammy, I've been waiting for you to get on here because a lot of discourse in the world about Jason Tatum over the last year, and I need to get your perspective on a lot of things, just Celtics related, NBA related, and everything like that. But your number one objective going into the offseason as a Patriot fan is what?
Offensive line.
Plain and simple.
That's it.
Draft or free agency?
Either. Whatever we can get at this point. Just protect that asset. We know we have a good asset there. Time to protect it. We can get the skill players later. Let's protect this asset. See what we got going on. Let him cook. Let him do his thing. And then we'll get the receivers and all these other players later on.
If we never got your true reaction to like how you guys have built your coaching staff, just I mean, what is your expectations going into this next chapter of your team with Vrabel. We all love Vrabel, and I'm a fan of him. So, and you got back to Boy, offensive coordinator. So, where are you at with everything? With that?
I'm happily hesitant, and I mean that in a sense that I think Robert Kraft still is getting his fingers too much involved in all the doings of everything. I love the Mike Vrabel edition. I think that's going to be perfect from a coaching perspective as well as just from a leadership perspective. I'm just concerned that we're doing the same thing by not allowing him to get his offensive coordinator or any of those guys that he wanted. And we got Josh McDaniels. Granted, Josh McDaniels is a great coach or a great offensive coordinator, but let's see what he can do, right? The league's passed him by, it seems. I'd rather us go in a different direction with our offense. I don't want to do the same old stuff that we did for 20 plus years. The offenses are different. The schemes are different. So
you thought Mac was a top 5 quarterback at one point. So
and that's the only benefit that I'm giving to him is because he made. I didn't say he was top 5 quarterback. I said he's the top 5 rookie, but
top 5 young player.
Yeah,
24.
And I'll own that. But that's because, to be fair, that's because of what Josh McDaniel was able to do. But again, it was the scheme. It was the way it was set up. So Vrabel didn't run that way when he was in Tennessee. So it's going to be interesting to see that dynamic go this season. But again, I'm optimistic because it can't get any worse, right? Or at least I don't think it could get any worse. But I like what I saw from Drake May last year. So we'll see what happens.
Pro Bowl ultimate, like look at that. Like, did he play?
Who?
Drake May, the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, he had 2 picks.
Do you know what's crazy? I did not watch. I was talking to A-Rod about it. I saw mitten hands on like on an Instagram video. I was like, oh, bro, the Pro Bowl's dead. I have no idea who won. I have no idea anything about that, but
it looked fun. It looked entertaining. I like what they did with the communication. How you can hear everybody talk in the live interviews. And not to do a plug because I'm not part of it or anything, but I've been recently watching that TGL league on ESPN, that golf league, and that is super fun to watch. But I think it's because of that dynamic. The guys are talking to the people, to the people watching, to the stands and all that stuff. And so anyway, but I think they did a good job with that. But yeah, nobody's really playing at the end of the day.
Yeah. All right, A-Rod, number 1 priority going into the offseason as a Jets fan or as a Eagles fan is what?
There's 2 streets and avenues to this. 1, my girlfriend converts me to being an Eagles fan, which she's on the right path right now. Or 2, I get that gun finally. Just put it in my mouth and pull the trigger. It's back
Let
to
people hear. What is your number 1 priority as Jets fan? We ain't gonna off yourself. It's okay, brother.
I don't care. Just win games. That's all I want. Just win games. Make the playoffs. That's what I keep saying every year. Make the playoffs.
Quarterback. How about that?
Sammy gave me a little nudge, kind of thing the other week or the other day when we watched the Super Bowl. So remember when you said 14 wins? Like, that's never gonna happen for me again.
All right. No Aaron Rodgers. All right. No Aaron Rodgers. Would you rather go vet or go into the draft?
Okay,
Give me an answer. Would you rather go vet or go into the draft?
I'd like one of the higher quarterbacks, but we're not. I don't want Jackson Dart. I would rather Cam Ward or Shador Sanders, but it ain't gonna happen. And then vet it looks like Kirk Cousins or Derek Carr, and I want to believe Kirk Cousins was
a couple years ago.
It's scary hours, bro.
All right.
I really don't care with this team, man. Football season does nothing for me. I like watching.
Skip these quarterbacks. Cam Ward is going to be Anthony Richardson. Just skip them.
I ain't gonna lie. We'll do our. Now it's time to prepare for the draft, so we got to get our mock drafts and shit. God, it's like the cycle starts over again. But yeah, we'll get to that as we move forward in the off season. But now it's officially time for us to just wash our way of the NFL for right now and just talk about National Basketball Association. We have 2 months into the end of the regular season already. Like, it's crazy how quick. Literally, March Madness is next month, and then next thing you know is the end of the NBA season. So days are picking up quickly. Last week, we talked about some trades that had happened and potential trades. We talked about Luka last week and the seismic shift that's happened on it's just the way we look at things. So we're gonna kick this off with an NBA arms race, and let's kind of just talk about some of these big moves. Now, Sammy, we never got your perspective of what was your first reaction to Luka Doncic being traded to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis in a trade that was nobody's bingo card, no nothing. What was your first reaction?
I mean, I remember exactly where it was. I was really drunk at Victor's house for his birthday. And it was like that night, like midnight, I went to his restroom and I'm sitting there, doing the typical guy on the restroom thing, scrolling. And it popped up and I was like, oh, this is probably one of those meme pages. And I kept going and it popped up again and I was like, nah. So then I went to the Google. Like, I even went to the Google, you know what I mean? And be like, oh, is this really real? And then it pops up everywhere. But I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. I thought there was going to be more to the trade, to be honest. I didn't think it was going to be practically a straight 1-for-1, right? But yeah, I just couldn't believe it. And it just pisses me off. Like, this was my reaction. It just pisses me off that the Lakers can keep getting away with this. Like, how do they keep getting away with this? You blow drafts, you blow all these things, and then you still end up getting some of the best players in the world because nobody else can afford them. It's so frustrating. It's really annoying, not to mention you're a destination. The Celtics have to scrape the bottom of the barrel. They have to grow their own talent. People don't want to go there because they think the whole city's racist. And it's just like seeing this team just have terrible ownership, but then they're the mafia. They're conning these teams into freaking trades like this. Like, how do you get away with this? Like, how can, like, they can turn down that Chris Paul trade, the NBA can, and then this time they can't do anything about this trade? This is absolutely bananas to me.
This is different, bro. David Stern was the general manager, official, basically, of that Thunder. I mean, of that was it the Hornets? Was it the Pelicans or the Hornets at the time? I don't know.
It was the Hornets.
He was in charge of that shit after Katrina and everything happened. Now, first of all, never mind. Let's not revisit that. So to me, that was a completely different situation.
I know. I'm just frustrated.
As a Celtic fan, you should be. Now, as somebody who's a Sixers fan, LeBron fan as well, I looked at your team. I'm like, dog, how y'all get Kristaps and Drew and Tatum and Brown? So it's the same thing, dog.
We had to draft those guys.
He drafted Porzingis.
We drafted Jason Tatum. We drafted Jalen Brown. Drew Holiday, I'm not sure why anybody got rid of them. We got them after a third trade. Kristaps Porzingis, nobody wanted him. Don't forget.
That went up too. You know what? I want to talk about the Mavericks real quick. That's where I want to start this shit off. Nico Harrison and the Mavericks, front office and all this shit that they've been doing over the last week, trying to shit on Luka Doncic's name. Shut up. Not even just shut up. Y'all screwed up. Y'all didn't realize what y'all was about to agree to. Like, we could talk about strong arming and all that shit. They called Rob. They called Rob and said, how would you feel about having one of the best players in the NBA right now at the age of 25? And all we want from you is your 31-year-old big man that has an injury history. That's all we want from you. Throw in Max Christie. That was them. And now they're doing all this backtracking and fumbling and like, oh, he's fat. Oh, he's not this and that. No, y'all just didn't want to pay him $350 million. Just call it what it is. Just let the fans know why you did what you did.
I went down the rabbit hole on that. I told you.
We don't want to pay him $350 million. All the shit about the casino, it don't freaking matter. You don't trade away Luka Doncic. You don't do that. Period. Like they and what we and look, I like Anthony Davis. I like Anthony Davis as a player. I like him as a person. He's a good dude. And I feel like over the last 2 years, he still gets a bad rap for being called street clothes. Like he played 75 games last year.
Anthony Day-to-Day Davis.
And up until the most recent pelvic stomach, whatever it is, it wasn't like he was hurt all year either. He's been playing well. But to me, what we just witnessed on Saturday was a microcosm. Now, people are saying, oh, maybe it's a fake injury and they got to push this. No, bro, this is what you get. He go get you 40. He go get you 50. He go get you 20 rebounds and he go get hurt. Sammy, go ahead.
So I just didn't want you to get too far off track on what ended up happening about that Vegas thing. So there's some water there. And from what I've heard, the person, that woman who purchased those majority shares
Alderman.
Alderman. Yeah. Who purchased those majority shares wanted to create a casino attached to the stadium. It was rejected by the city. And then I forgot who else it was rejected by. So that person went and said, all right, I'm going to move you to Vegas. Obviously, the fans love the team. There's no way you can do this. Oh, how do I make the fans hate the team? I'm going to trade your best player. And I'm going to lose your fan base. And as your fan base dwindles and as this team can't afford to stay above water, guess where we're going to move to?
Vegas. If not, and if rejected. And then the other thing is that I was saying last week is Mark Cuban, all they want is that money from the casino. Then she signs it back over to Mark Cuban to be the white savior to bring back this team together. So now you got your majority owner.
Because Mark Cuban apparently tried to stop the trade. He was like, what are you doing? But because he can't be as vocal, because I guess he's got some...
My marriage is on key here.
Right. He's got his own dealing, so he had to sell his shares so that he can get out of the limelight, get all that stuff. So again, you can't think of this trade, and I'm not saying you, KK, but I mean some of the fans watching this and looking into it, it's not a good NBA trade. But if you think about it from a business perspective, which is what these guys are, 100%. It's a genius move.
Last week, when we started the show last week, because this had just happened, it was as if there was not a Super Bowl that was about to be played on Sunday. Like, I am a diehard Eagles fan, and I was so people love player movement in the NBA. Like, that, you want to move the needle, you got to get creative with something. And once free agency started, when it was like decisions and this and Melos and LeBron and then KD, it's just, and now we got past the player doing it themselves. Now the front office is like, all right, it's our turn, because now a lot of players are kind of like, outside of like Kevin Durant, who's like just ready to move on now every year. Everyone seems pretty kind of stable with what they want. Like, they didn't want to leave Portland. They said, no, we got to get rid of you. You know what I mean? Like, certain players, like Kristaps would have been happy in Dallas. They're like, nah, this is not going to work out. Like, Jalen Brunson, if they would have just given him a little bit of money, he would never, we don't know if he ends up in New York. You know what I mean? So, like, now the front offices are like, we got to kind of take a little bit of control. But like this move, this chess piece kind of control move right here, I mean, Joel Embiid's rushing back from injury, like nobody is safe. And that, to me, that was, you talk about from an NBA perspective and what we're about to witness over the next 10 years of Luka Doncic in Los Angeles is, Luka, the best team in the East for the next 10 years will probably be Boston, mixing Milwaukee every now and then. You know what I mean? The best team in the West will be the Lakers again, mix in your Jokic's and mix in your Shays. Like we're back to like what did the 80s need? They needed so badly, because remember in the 70s there was no dynasty. It was just You win, now I win, now you win. It was just like, there was no, it was just basketball was being played. They said, we need a story. We got the story.
And think about the genius of it all, right? Like I think you're nailing it. Like when you don't look at it from the micro, you look at it from a macro perspective of the NBA business as an entity. They were dying. All the teams were even, right? There was no team that was really blowing anybody away. Now you have eyeballs. Eyeballs are going to be watching. Whether it be positive or negative, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you want eyeballs. And that's what they're getting.
It sells. Like when the Heatles were the Heatles, everyone was waiting to see them fall. When Golden State got too crazy, everybody, like the Chiefs, it was the most watched Super Bowl in history because we love to see shit fall. Like, we are a fan of the demise of greatness. Plain and simple. Floyd Mayweather. Every fight got more and more expensive. Why? Who's going to knock this dude out? Jake Paul. We don't even acknowledge him as a real boxer. If he's on pay-per-view, that shit's going to sell because we want to see his ass get knocked out. It's just, we love to see shit like that. So to me, Boston had already positioned themselves much like they normally do. They're always going to be able to build a team. Even when they're down, you can see they're building something. Like there's always something that they're doing to build. And to their credit, most of the time they start in the draft, and then they know how to like they drafted Paul Pierce, they drafted Antoine Walker, they drafted Chauncey Billups, they had all this shit. They said, we just need to figure out what to do with the guy that we like the most. We like Paul Pierce. Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett, and we have a team for the next few years. They got Tatum, they got Brown. I thought it was going to be curtains and they're going to have to split up. They brought in Jrue Holiday. I said, get a point guard. They got Jrue. Then they got Kristaps. It was like, now the Celtics are set. We need them to have a rival. Like, Cleveland and Golden State, everybody knew it was going to be those two. But did we watch? Yes, we watched. Christmas, we watched. NBA Finals, we watched. Like, that's just the nature of the beast. So to me, from just standing back and looking at it, we look at the markets. New York is doing well. NBA loves that. Steph, they said, look, Jimmy, you don't have to help Steph because we can't have this. You know how much money they just paid to go play in this New York in the Chase Center? Like, Oakland, that rent was cheap. This San Francisco rent ain't cheap. We need star power. They got Jimmy up right back at where he needs to be, somewhere where he matters, right? The Lakers, the Lakers can't be bad for that. Like those last few years of Kobe, when it was Robert Sacre and it was rough. It was rough because. They had, they made it. They won back to back, but it got rough out there. And LeBron was the first chess piece, and they said, "All right, we'll figure it out." And somehow they parlayed
bullshit, dude. It's freaking bullshit. They don't know how to do anything but spend money, dude.
Go. We watch baseball. The Dodgers got buku money, and guess what? They got them all. The Yankees got buku money. They got the rest of them. It's like. That's what you do, bro. The Mets got hella money. I didn't think. How did Pete Alonso get back? Like, in what world is Pete Alonso still a Met? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. So it's like, in the way this shit works, business is important in the National Basketball Association. That's why I call this like it's an arms race. The most popping franchises are gonna be popping, dog, and everybody else, we want to promote the small market. We really want to, but like, bro. The OKC is like 40-9. Nobody really we are trying so hard to get Shai Gilgeous-Alexander MVP. If Shai Gilgeous-Alexander paid for the Boston Celtics or the Los Angeles Lakers, not even Boston, y'all getting screwed out of MVP conversations a lot. If he paid for the Los Angeles Lakers or the New York Knicks, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is probably number one, no matter what. Jokic, what he's doing is incredible, but it's in Denver. Like. Giannis has been 30 and 15 for the last 5 years. Tired of him already. Like, we want to see Golden State, big money, Los Angeles Lakers.
It's legit becoming wrestling. It's becoming wrestling marketing. And Vince McMahon, thank you for your services once again.
But the thing with wrestling is that you go out there knowing what you got to do. In the NBA, you still got to play the games. Detroit Pistons, They were having that in the 80s with the Bad Boys. They weren't having that with the Bad Boys in '04. Like, you still got to go out there and play basketball. So, like, bringing this back to a basketball context now, we saw the debut of Luka and LeBron. We've seen Jimmy play with the Warriors. We've seen AD a little bit with the Mavs. A lot of the shit all happened in the West, by the way. Brandon Ingram gets traded. De'Aaron Fox gets traded. The West is just, meanwhile, the East is just like the same bullshit. It's the same shit we're going to get every year.
What now? East is just like, what now?
Looking at the West, A-Rod, who do you think will rise from this immediate smoke now that the dust is kind of clear a little bit? Who do you think is going to blossom from all of this?
I mean, let's not take away Ben Simmons signing. I'm just kidding.
I wish him well. I do wish him well. Like,
I don't. Screw that bum.
I just don't get it with him. But continue.
I don't wish that guy well. He bamboozled me. I don't like getting bamboozled. Honestly, I like both the Warriors and the Lakers on these moves the most, because I didn't believe two guards could get it done with the Mavericks, and it worked. And LeBron is like a master of the craft even at 40 years old. And I think him and Luka can make something happen. Still no big there. I don't know what they're going to get in the.
They signed Alex Len today, by the way. Alex Len, 7-foot Ukrainian dude.
He was only good at Maryland when he was there.
Alex Len, Jackson Hayes, Christian Wood when he gets back.
Christian Wood, that's what I'm waiting to see, man. That was a good get. I said 2 years ago.
Last February. They say he's ramping back up. Should be back after All-Star break.
Well, hopefully he gets playing time now, because they weren't giving him any PT. But I like the Warriors of getting Jimmy Butler too, because I feel like that guy fits the culture over there. I know you don't like him because I get it. But I think Jimmy fits the culture for that. He's just chirpy kind of guy, just like Draymond, and Steph can just do what Steph does.
Sammy, looking at the West, the landscape, who's rising to the top from this immediately?
I can't wait for the videos of Draymond Green punching Jimmy Butler. That's what I'm saying.
Who's swinging first? Is it Draymond swinging first, or Jimmy swinging and missing? That's the question.
I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say one of the ones that I'm the most excited about that you touched on briefly, but I think it's very, very underrated, is De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs.
I think,
I mean, maybe not immediately. They could potentially. I mean, they're only 5 games out, right, from a playoff spot. So watch out. They can make a run, and De'Aaron Fox being able to play with Wemby like that, that's kind of scary, That's kind of scary.
Yeah, and Chris Paul's still there. Kay's like, Chris Paul's going to the bench. I'm like, I don't think so, man. Chris Paul's going to be.
He doesn't have to play as many minutes.
Yeah, exactly. But he's still getting 9 assists a game, man.
You're right.
He's known to be able to play with the second guard.
So. Yeah, no, it's true. I didn't realize how tall Stephon Castle was, though. Like, I'm talking to A-Rod about this. Why did I think he was like 6'2"?
Rookie of the year.
He's on my fantasy team. I love the dude. And when he got drafted, like, you look at everybody's situation. I didn't know if Reed Shepard was going to get minutes. I didn't know anything about Rashad Shea and all these other dudes.
Bamboozle my ass.
But I knew, all right, maybe, because, like, but anyway. But immediately, Sammy, immediate success. Who is your immediate success? Who are you going to play in the West in the NBA Finals? Is what I'm going to ask you.
I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. I know you're baiting me. This is bait. This is bait. This is clickbait right here. It's obviously the Lakers, right? I mean, it's clear.
The NBA can't write a better script. I predicted last year. I was wrong. I predicted it again this year. The NBA, they've been pushing this narrative that ratings has been bad all year. And Luka Doncic is a Laker by February. Get the fuck out of here, dog. Now they got AR-15 dropping 45, 7 and 7 on Indiana. Like, you can't write a better script than this, bro. I'm sorry.
Bro, and they rescinded the trade for Mark Williams. They replaced his piss with pickle juice, and they were like, hey, this don't look regular. It's a Shrek piss here. and got Dalton Connect back.
I'm telling you, bro. Like,
It's brothers in LA.
Because the way I look at it, right? OKC, they don't seem ready to me. I love Shea. But they too young, bro. They 23. I'm sorry, dog. They young. Memphis. Who really trusts Memphis to make it to the NBA Finals?
Show us a gun.
Let's be honest. The only team that the Lakers need to worry about is Jokic. Like, that's, to me, and if they can avoid them somehow and let somebody else beat them, which right now, Lakers are 4, Denver is 3rd. They're tied in the loss column. If LA can move to 3 and Dallas is out, either way, they didn't avoid each other until they didn't avoid. I mean, shit. Depending on how, we'll see how matchups go. But I don't know. To me, the Rockets, they're young. The Clippers, they you know what's gonna happen. Okay, we just know. Dallas, the water ain't good in Dallas right now. But apparently they're trying to sell
Galveston.
Shit, for real. They got that BP oil water from Galveston. Golden State, I'd be a little concerned about. A little bit. I don't think they have enough to do it, but to me, Golden State will be the team that can knock out an OKC. Like that's something I can see happening. It's like it's that simple. So to me, now talk about a team that didn't do anything. Phoenix Suns. We got to talk about Kevin Durant real quick. He's like the wandering man. Like he's just, I don't know. It's so interesting. His when we look back a few years, like when it's all said and done, when he retires, who in the history of the NBA would you say kind of compares to him the most? Like just his story. Can you think of anybody, Sammy? Like this wandering monster who's just not happy. No, he just where am I taking my next show to?
I can't think of one, man. Like he's just his own guy. No, Clyde Drexler. No, Clyde Drexler only played for 2 teams, and it was to the end where he was like, "Hey, I got 2 years left. I got something in the tank," and he went out like pretty high. He didn't average like 8 points a game.
It's not like the Shaquille O'Neal in a way. Shaq, Orlando drafted him. LA, he did a bid. Miami, he did a bid. Phoenix, he did a bid. Cleveland, he did a bid. Boston, he did a bid.
Was just the dominant.
Why aren't you saying your boy Chris Paul? Isn't that the same thing too?
No, because Chris Paul is not one shit. Kevin Durant. When we look at Kevin Durant,
do we even remember that Kevin Durant won shit? No, because he's been in shit the rest of the time.
No matter what you feel about Kevin Durant, he is one of the most dominant players that has ever played this game of basketball.
Kevin Durant is literally the only player that we talk about in this light. He won 1, and we just call him this messiah of basketball. Dude. Either way, you're this good. Arguably as good as LeBron James, and LeBron James is doing everything in his power. Yes, I'm going to say something positive. Everything in his power to win championships. And your bitch ass, I just want to play ball with my boys. You can't win shit. That's why you can't win shit, because you got a team that you hampered with terrible salaries. One of the guys, he's playing decently well this season, can't stay healthy, can't stay on the freaking court. And then you hamstring your freaking franchise that can't do anything because they're in the second apron already. So they can't do anything. They're in purgatory.
Who's getting paid $50 million with a no trade clause, coming off the bench, making demands, making ridiculous demands. That situation, like his situation, is just so interesting to me. Like it's like I've never seen it. Like I've never seen anything like this before.
And then you have the opportunity, right? I know he said he didn't want to. You have the opportunity to go back to Golden State and potentially try and win another one.
That would be a bad move for him.
And you said no.
That would be a bad going
in what world? Like I keep hearing that, but in what world is that a bad move?
That's such a Kevin Durant move, though.
Exactly.
Kevin Durant.
Can it get any snakier?
It's either that or it's like I'm taking my talents back to OKC to play with the young boys.
Which I would have respect for that, but I know Presti ain't doing that.
I would. Oh God, I would be so disgusted. I'm like, oh, how you gonna ruin that young team? Like, don't like. I don't want LeBron nowhere near Cleveland. I know that was like the whole thing, like, oh, let him retire Cleveland. Absolutely not. They have turned a new leaf. Durant, they have they turned that leaf a long time ago when they handed the keys to Russell Westbrook. I don't want to see you walking through those doors no more. Like there's like, but the Bulls had all the success with Michael Jordan, and even then they were like, we can't do this shit no more, Mike. Like we can't. Sometimes I don't want to say you overstay your welcome, but you kind of like it's time to move on, bro. It's just, and to me, I look at Durant, I don't know. I don't know like what's gonna happen in the offseason. He's probably gonna get traded again. And we're gonna be talking about the same thing. And we're gonna be like, oh, they got guards and this and they can't play defense, and then it's gonna be the same thing over and over. Unless he ends up with Boston or LA or some shit. Like that's the only infinity stone for him is go join one of those two. Call it a day. So all right. Any other
fair? He's the only guy that we talk about as so dominant, but literally only has 2 chips. Like that's crazy to me.
At least
and with as long as he has been in the league, and as much opportunities he had to overtake LeBron, right? As opposed to like a Charles Barkley, who he couldn't ever take over Michael Jordan. Like there were opportunities to take over LeBron James, and he had the opportunity to do it, and I don't know.
There was a point in which it was right there for the taking, bro. Like it was yours, but it's like I don't know who to blame because it's like, he had Achilles injuries, he's had the injuries, like that stuff. The way I was probably worried about Wemby, just his frame. It's just. It's kind of just brittle, you know what I mean? So
you need some milk.
You need some milk for real.
At the end of the day, too, like we make all these shit about Kevin Durant, and he's gonna have the last laugh. He's gonna be a tech billionaire. So after he's done with the NBA, so it's like
good for no dead ass. Like
yeah,
it's true though. Like maybe we want more for him than he actually wants for himself, and maybe that's all it is. Like I think maybe we just want more. And or expect something different. Maybe we really wanted him to take that. Like we see it in sports, like somebody who's there for that crown, they go and try to take that shit, right? Like Kobe, when he wanted that shit from Jordan, he was like, bro, at 19, 20, sometimes you go get it. LeBron at 16. On Sports Illustrated, like that was the craziest shit we've ever seen in our lives. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just, and then sometimes you got like the Jokic's of the world who just go out there and ball, give you triple doubles. Got his ring. Nobody talks about like if Jokic never wins a ring again, he's still going to be as respected as somebody who's won 6 rings because of how he just carried himself this whole way through. You know what I mean? Like Durant, to me, this whole ring chasing culture thing is just it got weird. It really did get weird. Like, the 6 rings was cool with Jordan, and 4 was cool with Montana, and we was all enamored by that. But it got kind of just really kind of messy, and we kind of forget like you don't win every year. It's just hard to win in professional sports. Like a lot of things need to happen in your favor for that to happen. And some of the greatest players of our lifetime have, like Patrick Ewing, you never, right? He had a couple cracks.
Carmelo Anthony before Kevin Durant could be Kevin Durant.
My favorite basketball player of all time, Allen Iverson. There's no way in my life that I thought he would never win a ring. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's a lot more of those stories than there is Michael, Kobe, LeBron.
KG should have had more than one.
So, yeah, I'm very. It's
boring to me, man. Like it's like you see him, you're like, God, this guy's so good, but he's just boring to me. Like he's just very boring to me. That's just the kind of guy he is, and it's just
really good at basketball. Nikola Jokic I used to be so Joel Embiid by a mile over Jokic. You won't ever catch me saying that shit ever again. Like I just see this dude Jokic. I'm like, the dude is just good at basketball. Like sometimes I don't want all to be in the limelight. I don't want to do all the bullshit. I just want to go out here and hoop. Jokic says it. They think it's cute when he says it. I want to go play with my horses. Durant said, "I want to go play with my homeboys." Everybody give him a hard time.
No, because Kevin Durant says he wants to go play with his homeboys, and then he's on Twitter trying to clown people.
Yeah, I know.
You get what you get, bro.
And he's
I
a
think the Twitter thing did not help his life.
You know, like Jokic actually is in the cut.
racing horses when he doesn't want to play NBA.
I got so much respect for that dude, but I can't even put it into words. I'm like, yo, this dude is just. He's one of the ones that we just had no idea was supposed to be this good, and we just gonna have to give him the pass. Like, all right, bro, you in my top 25 now, so and you creeping. So, all right. And then anything in the East kind of stand out to you? Are you scared of anybody, Sammy? Or are you scared of anybody? Both of y'all. I don't have a dog in this fight, so.
Nah, Kyle Kuzma, whatever.
So as far as the trades go,
yeah, because like that was the only trade that was shit. Who else? Chicago got rid of
getting cutting payroll. I like
DeAndre Hunter to Cleveland. Like, all right, Boston just be Cleveland. Like, I don't know.
Cleveland just re-upped on like the bench role players.
Hunter was about to win 6 Man of the Year or some shit. So, all right. Will it be y'all two in the NBA Eastern Conference Finals?
I hope.
Sammy, do you think it's New York for sure that you're going to see?
I think so. It's all going to come down to the playing time, as I like to joke with A-Rod about. Are your guys going to be too tired when you get there? Are they going to be healthy when they get there? But yeah, I think it's the Knicks for the taking. My biggest concern is how the Celtics adjust when they have to play a Cleveland. You know, like we find this way to lose games in the strangest way. Like we are clearly every time we step on the court, no disrespect, I'm not trying to gloat, but we're the most talented team on that court, like player for player. And then we stick to the same stuff. And when it's not working, we don't adjust. And that's been very frustrating for me. And I know I've said it before, but live by the three, die by the three, I guess.
So we don't think Cleveland, like, bruh, like look, there's Garland, all-star, Donovan Mitchell, all-star, Evan Mobley, who I've completely, like, the way A-Rod talked about Evan Mobley before, I'm like, oh, he'll get there. He's there. Jared Allen, and then getting DeAndre Hunter. Donovan Mitchell is not scared at the moment. I don't think he is. There's Garland seems to be comfortable with his role. And if Evan Mobley takes that next step to like, I am a superstar, or I'm trying to be a superstar at least, you don't think that's a team that you got to be a little just.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's who I'm scared of.
More so than New York, because like my thing with New York, I'm gonna keep it a buck. A-Rod, I love you, but y'all, you know what's gonna happen, bro. Like Tom Thibodeau gonna run y'all to the ground, dog. So like, can y'all overcome that? Cat's already had injury concerns in his career. The last thing you want is not like, I don't know what's your center name that's supposed to be coming back?
Mitchell Robinson.
Is he gonna be fully healthy? Like,
should be.
Shit, Mikal Bridges, he plays every game. Brunson, he's small, so I don't know. If
he had no legs, Tibbs would still start him, man.
I don't know. I'd be a little concerned about Cleveland. Milwaukee.
Concerned about Cleveland? You think Cleveland's cool?
Milwaukee, at the end of the day, they still have Giannis. So that's something if he's on the court, you got to beat him 4 times. So that's one thing. But Cleveland as a whole, I look at them, I'm like, They built that roster like
did this shit last year, bro. Same song and dance. I'm not scared of Cleveland. We took care of them. I'm not afraid of them. Anyone I'm afraid of is the Celtics and Giannis. Those are the only 2 I'm afraid of.
Damn, Sammy, no love.
No, there's no love for Giannis.
All right, he's still the best player in the East.
Giannis. He loves Giannis deep down, though.
Best player in the East, but okay. All right. Oh, before I move on, cause I do want to just talk about the All-Star game real quick and what y'all think about this format or whatever. But Jason Tatum, I did say I want to talk to you about that real quick. You hear the stuff that he's been going through with the media, with Brandon Jennings, and just like there seems to be a lot of attention on him, unwarranted, a lot of it. They've been trying to split this team up since y'all was good last year, trying to break it, trying to put a wedge into that, something to not let this shit work. Not playing him in the Olympics, to Jalen Brown not getting any kind of invite while they're like just it seems to be a lot of noise. Just where are you at with everything that having to kind of fight all that off type of thing?
Brandon Jennings has no place to talk because coming into the league, he had so much hype. He was one of those high school top players coming out, and what did he turn down Arizona to go to Europe before coming into the league, and then comes into the league, and then it became a journeyman and all this stuff. And he's talking
early on.
Yeah, but okay. I mean, so did Cam Thomas. But what are we talking about? Like, Brandon Jennings is just getting this last bit of hope to get some attention, and he got the attention, right? He did what he did, and he was an NBA player, so I can't sit here and talk about him. But come on, man. Like, I thought we deaded this last year. I thought Jason Tatum proved everybody wrong, and I thought he started the year tremendously. And I still see him playing extremely well this year, and he's just doing it off pure talent. I mean, it's in his stats this season. So I'm not worried about any of that noise. The only noise that I'm worried about is we have a target on our back now. How is Joe Mazzulla going to adjust when times get tough? And when times get tough, it's going to be in the playoffs. That's when defense crank up. So like you said, I am concerned with the Cleveland Cavaliers because they have the height. Is Porzingis going to be able to last that long? Is Jason Tatum going to adjust his game, which I have seen a lot this year. Him in particular adjusting his game. He's taking a little more mid ranges. He's trying to get to the hoop a little bit more. So if he keeps transitioning that, it's going to go very well. My only concern is there seems to be kind of an internal dilemma between the Jalen Brown and the Jason Tatum. I don't know if it's just noise.
Is that real? Is that real? Because that's where I'm at. Like, I thought, remember my comparison a couple years ago was Antoine Walker and Paul Pierce. Even though they were still cool, it was like there was still this sense of like, okay, bro, I ain't trying to be right. Like, Scottie Pippen can't stand Michael Jordan just to this day, apparently. And there's always gonna be that little brother, big brother type of, all right, bro, come on now. I'm not. I ain't Robin, bro. I am Batman too. Like. You don't think that's real, or is that manufactured by the media? Because to me, I feel like that was a narrative that media was pushing. But we see it on the court a little bit. And Jalen Brown winning all those awards last year, Finals MVP, and like all that shit. I thought that would be a little kind of.
I think there's a little bit there, and if you look at the usage and you watch some of the games, you can see they're trying to get the ball into Jason Tatum's hands a little bit more than they did before, right? Before it was a little bit more even, hot man or whoever's open, get that guy between the two. Now it just seems like there's really an emphasis to push the Jason Tatum narrative on the team. I don't like that for the team, in my opinion. I think it still needs to run through both, as we've seen. We're successful when we have both of them playing well, playing their roles effectively. And I think, I'm hoping it's mostly noise, but I hope that Jason Tatum, and I think he does, understands that deep down, overall, he provides so much benefit to this team when he's just in his own zone. When, like we saw in the finals, like we saw in the East finals, like his shot wasn't going, but he was still the first one down the court, getting the block, getting a steal, doing all the things that he can to help the team win. We need to continue that culture. And I'm slightly concerned that Joe Mazzulla can't pull that out. He was able to influence us from an X's and O's perspective. Now, with these guys being stars and these guys having all the eyes on them, now is the time, like a Doc Rivers type, that maybe needs to rope them all in, So we'll see. I like Joe a lot. I love how he talks to the media. And again, I think this is all noise. I'm happy with what they're doing. I see slight adjustments that need to be made in game so that we're not so reliant on the three. But I think we'll get there when we come playoffs. And I think that first round is going to be very critical.
Yeah, managing personalities is such a big part of coaching that people don't really, don't really pay. Like, you just see talent on the court, and you just expect, okay, they're the best team on the court. to manage all of that, that's a whole nother like. That's why like bringing in like a Drew Holiday last year to me was like, okay, let's calm this noise down a little bit, and that to me is something that you guys could benefit from.
But the other part about it is you were bringing that guy in, yes, to manage, but at the same time, you were already dealing with hungry dogs.
Yeah.
Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown were already hungry. Yes, they were still young, but they were hungry. Okay, they ate last year. How do we temper those? You know what? Yeah, rein them back in.
They're like, you gotta think about it. Like 20, he's about to turn 20. Tatum about to turn 27. In about a week, March 3rd. And Jalen Brown, he's 28. Like they are right at that cusp of like, because I remember we all was 27, and sports, work, whatever it is, I felt like I was at my best when I was 27, 28. Like I was the man at my job. I was walking Soho like I felt like I was him. That's just natural man shit that you got to deal with. You got two alpha males that are like feeling like that. No matter how much noise it could be, it's gonna creep in. At the end of the day, it's gonna creep in. So, but they are both all-stars. And just to kind of just wrap this up and just look at this all-star thing, I don't really know what the hell is about to happen. I know everyone drafted the teams, Shaq got a team, and all that. We know Trae Young. We talked about snubs last week. Trae Young got his nod. I had Kyrie Irving at my original All-Star reserves. He got Anthony Davis' spot. Do we feel like we're missing anybody that should be in this game still, or are we pretty good with who's going to be in the game at least, or in the tournament, whatever this shit is? Hey, Rob, what you think?
I'm good with it, man. I know Devin Booker's somewhere punching air, but I don't really care. So.
Yeah, they ain't gonna get no love like that from the coaches. And then, have any of you deep dived into like how this format's supposed to be?
I haven't, man. Like, All-Star Game is just getting too confusing for me now. Just, I don't know. I haven't looked at it. I say this shit just to probably watch it. So
I'll probably watch the celebrity game. Slam dunk contest, I don't know. 3-point contest, probably. I don't know. Like, I never thought I would reach this point in my life in which I don't even know what's happening anymore. That's kind of where we're at. I'm not really sure. Like, there's Rising Stars Challenge or whatever is going to be in the All-Star game. Like that, everything's just weird for me. So, I don't know. Are y'all watching?
I'll probably watch it, but. Clickbait, just check and see what's going on. Oh, it's 332 to 330. Oh, that's what I expected.
It's a bracket tournament now.
Yeah, it's a bracket thing now. So like, there's like a target score and
four teams.
Yeah,
40.
It's just like the 4 teams. Like one of the teams is gonna be a G League team, basically. I don't know. It's just I'm so confused about everything.
How about they just play? How about that? How about they just play?
Shit, I don't know. Well, we could talk all day about how to fix all this, but let's focus on next week. That we'll see how this shit goes, and then next week we gonna dive a little bit deeper into all that. But A-Rod, you got naysayers this week?
Yeah, all those Man City fans and Aguero, cut your nuts off, bro. You said you were gonna do it, so let's see you do it.
Sammy, you got any naysayers?
Don't ever put Pat Mahomes' name in the same breath as Tom Brady.
I'm at it. I will allow you to have this moment right now. I think it's still too early to call. So I admit last year I started creating that narrative. I'm not as.
But it took away from your boys the whole week. That's all the narrative was.
I'm not as dug in as I once was. I think he's off to a good start. But when you go peel back the curtain, you realize this dude Tom Brady was cold. He was a cold dude. I get it. I get it. And you know, for me, fly, Eagles fly. Super Bowl champs. I'm still gonna gloat for the next however many months because I can. So that's all I got to say. Good luck to Luka Doncic and LeBron. Good luck to the All-Star weekend. And that's it. Peace.
Me? Rattle